Hey guys, welcome again to another video. My name is Cheenaylo and I'm a content creator based in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. So you guys are highly welcome to my new subscribers, to my old subscribers, the OGs. Yes, I see you guys. Keep subscribing, keep sticking with me, and I'll carry you guys along on this wonderful journey. So on today's video, we're going to be talking about the form IMM5257. This is the Schedule 1 of application for temporary residence. This has to do with people that are applying to come into Canada as temporary residents, either for work or for visit, or I think for school also. But about that, and I'll show you what to do. For today, like I said earlier, we are going to be using this, filling the Schedule 1 application for temporary residence form. This is IMM5257. So, to start with this form, we'll just go ahead and read it and then follow the instructions. It says the principal applicant, his or her spouse or common law partner, if applicable, and all dependent children aged 18 years or older listed in the application for temporary residence must complete their own copy of this form. This is when you're applying for temporary residence, and if you're coming with your family members or so, each and every one that is above 18 years, that's 18 years or older, they'll have to fill their own separate forms. Now, you can see there's a blue box here that says validate. This will happen after you finish filling the form, and then if you've made mistake or maybe there's some things you need to change, you can go ahead and clear the form and then start afresh. So for now, let's just start. It says indicate whether you are the principal applicant or the spouse, common law partner, or dependent child aged 18 years or older of the principal applicant. Since we are the principal applicant, we're going to click as the principal applicant. Moving on, the first number one is full name, family name as shown on your passport or travel document. So like we have before, I'll go ahead and fill in my name, but I'm going to make all this in caps so that it will look very neat. Cheenaylo Maduka. And then any given name. Let's say my given name is Sandra. Then the next one, number 2, is your date of birth. We give our date of birth, the year of birth, let's say 1990, and then the month should be, let's say, January, and then the date 1. If you have a UCI, now for this, UCI means unique client identifier. If you have a UCI number, this is where you fill it in. But for a first timer, we don't have any UCI number. This UCI number is being issued by the government of Canada for like a unique client identifier number, something like that, that we use to identify your applications, like a number that is given to you to identify who you are when filling your forms or when filling making an application. So in this case, we don't have it because this is our first time applying to come to Canada, right? Then the next one we read, it says, okay, Canada places a high value on bringing those who commit acts of genocide, war crimes, or crimes against humanity to justice. Canada was the first country to incorporate obligations of the Rome Statute into its national law. I don't know if you know what this means. It means that if you have committed any of these crimes before, this is not the right place for you. So, since we are clear to go, we'll fill the number 4 actually. It says military service. Did you serve in any military, militia, or civil defense unit, or serve in a security organization or police force, including non-obligatory national service, reserve, or volunteer units? So, if you have served in any of this one, like maybe you're in the military before, you're in the police force and all of that, civil defense and all of that, you go ahead and say yes, and then they'll ask you to give details of the following places from when you started and when the job ended or the service ended, and then the location, where you were stationed, the province, the country, whatsoever. But in our case, we are civilians, so I click on no. Question 5 says, have you ever witnessed or participated in the ill treatment of prisoners or civilians, looting or desecration of religious buildings? If you've ever participated in any of these things, definitely there'll be a police record that will say you have done something like that. And if you haven't, you go ahead and give a no. Number 6, membership or association with organization. It says, are you or have you ever been a member or associated with any political party or other group or organization which has engaged in or advocated violence as a means to achieving a political or religious objective, or which has been associated with criminal activity at any time? Do not use abbreviations. So if you have engaged in any of these things listed here, you go ahead and say yes, and you put from what time to what time you have engaged in all these activities, the name of the organization we're working under, the activities and the positions held within those organizations, the province, like the state, and this country or territory where all these activities has taken place. So in my case, it's a no. If it's a yes in your case, do not lie. Go ahead and put it, because your police report is going to indicate that. So moving on, question number 7 says government positions. Have you ever held any government positions such as civil servant, judge, police officer, mayor, member of parliament, hospital, administrator? Do not use abbreviations. So have you ever held any of these positions? Civil servant, what did you do? You have to, if you say yes, you have to put from what year to what year that you serve as a civil servant or as a judge or as a police officer, a mayor, member of parliament, or a hospital administrator. I don't know why they need all this, but it's for their record, I guess. So you put in the country where you served, where you held these positions, your level of jurisdiction, the department or the branch, and then the activities and positions held. But for in our case, common man, it's a no. Then moving on to question number 8, previous travel. Since the age of 18 or during the past 5 years, whichever is more recent, have you traveled to any country or territory other than the country of your citizenship or your current country or territory of residence? Meaning, if you have traveled out of your current country before, you should indicate yes, and then you put from what year to what year you traveled, what country did you reside in, what location, and the purpose of your travel. So if you have not traveled before, as a temporary resident, as an applicant applying for temporary residence visa, if you have not traveled to any other country before, you're still in your home country, you click on the answer no. But if yes, you know what to do. Then after that, that is the end of this form. You just go ahead and validate it. So validation has been successfully completed. So here we can see for official use only, it's asking has the form been validated, and the answer there is yes. So that is the end of the form. Okay, now guys, we're done with IMM5257b. We are moving on to the next one form, which is IMM5257e. This one is application for visitors visa, temporary residence visa. Like we know, the one before, it was schedule 1, application for temporary residence visa, and then this one is the main application. So when we come down to this page, it says if you need more space for any section, print out an additional page containing the appropriate section. complete and submit it with your application. Number one question is asking for your UCI. Like I explained in the other form, UCI is when you have a unique client identifier number. So since we don't have it, we skip question number one and then we move to question number two. It's asking, I want service in what language? If you know French, you go with French. If you know English, you go with English. But in our case, we are using English. So click on English. Question number three is saying visa requested. What kind of visa are you requesting? Is it a visitor's visa? Is it a transit visa? Personal details. Personal details, your full name, family name as shown on your passport or travel document. So my situation here, I'm going to go ahead and put in my family name, Maduka, then given names as shown on your passport or travel document. Our given names, like we all know, is Cheenaylo, Sandra. This is just an example, putting what applies to you directly. Question number two. In this place, it's asking, have you ever used any other names, which is example, nickname, media name, alias, etc. So if you have another name, like a family name or a given name before getting married, like for me now I'm married, so I click yes. But if you click on no, it's going to blank this place. You cannot write anything, I think. Yes, you cannot write anything here. So now I'm using yes because I have a family name before my husband's name, and I'll just put that down there. Then question number three is your sex, your gender. Are you a female? Are you a male? Are you unknown or another gender? For me, I am female. And then your date of birth. Let's say my date of birth is 1990, month of January 1st. Place of birth, the city or town where you were born. Abuja. Just put in what applies to you, please. Country or territory of birth. So we'll just click on the drop down box and we select it down. For us is Nigeria. Citizenship. Are you a citizen of Afghanistan? Are you a citizen of whatever country you're from? So since I am a Nigerian, I'll go ahead and put in Nigeria. So this is Nigeria. Question number 7. Current country or territory of residence. So for some of us, according to this video, we are assuming that we haven't traveled out before. So our current country or territory of residence is still going to indicate as Nigeria, which is this one. Status, what is a status? I'm a citizen, right? So a citizen of Nigeria. Then previous country or territory of residence. If you have traveled before, let me just read it. Previous countries or territories of residence. During the past 5 years, have you lived in any country or territory other than your country of citizenship or your current country or territory of residence indicated above for more than 6 months? If you have traveled before, you click on yes, and then you fill in the countries you've been to, the status you held, from what year to what year. But if not, we click on no. You'll say this, it's going to be shaded. The box is down there is going to be shaded, meaning you don't need to put in anything. Question number 9, it says country or territory where applying. So if you're applying from Nigeria, like our current country on number 7 is saying that we are from Nigeria. If you're applying from Nigeria, you are going to click on yes, which is indicating that is the country or territory from where you're applying the same as your country, your current country or territory of residence, which is yes. But if you say no, it's going to ask you to put down the country where you are applying from. So in this situation, I'm going to say yes, since we are all assuming that we are applying from our current country of residence, right? And then question number 10 is A, your current marital status. Are you married? If you're not married, you click on single. If you're widowed, you click on widowed. If you're legally separated, divorced, common law, annulled marriage, you click on that. So for my situation, it's married. And then B, if you are married or in a common law relationship, provide the date on which you were married or entered into the common law relationship. So this is time for you to go back to your wedding certificate and select the date of which you were married. So I'm going to just put let's say February 1st, 2022. Then question number C, provide the name of your current spouse or common law partner, his family name and his given names. So in my case, my spouse's common law given names is Emmanuel and family name Maduka. Now we're done with section A. Section B will bring you down here. Sorry, we're done with page 1. Well, we're now on page 2. Page 2 is asking for your personal details. Continued. Now we have our name right here, Maduka C, meaning Maduka Cheenaylo, and our date of birth here. So question 11 is asking A, have you previously been married or in a common law relationship? That means if you've been married before your current marriage, you click on the box yes. But if not, if this is your first marriage, you click on no. So in this situation, it is a no for me. Then we've gone down to languages. Question 1 is native language or mother tongue. It says put in your native language or your mother tongue. So like so many of us from Africa or Nigeria, we have different language, like the Igbo, we have the Hausa, we have the Yoruba, we have the Edo, we have the Efik. But in order not to make this video too long, we're going with Igbo, since I am Igbo. B, are you able to communicate in English and or French? If you're able to communicate in English and French, you say both. If you're not able to communicate in any of them, you click neither. But if you can communicate in French alone, you click on French. If you're able to communicate in English alone, you click on English. In our situation, we're going with English. Please make sure to put in what applies to you. D, have you taken a test from a designated testing agency to assess your proficiency in English or French? Meaning, have you had your IELTS or CELPIP or whatever test that the Canada immigration requires? So if you have, you click on yes. If you have not, you click on no. So now we'll say yes. Passport number, we will go ahead and put in our passport number. Please apply your passport number put in your passport number as it applies to you. For me here now, I'm using an example. I'll say AB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Then country or territory of issue. It is Nigeria, so we will go with Nigeria. Nigeria is an N. What is this now? Okay, we're getting there. NGA. This is it. Nigeria. The issue date I'm assuming we just issued a new passport. So we'll say March 1st of 2023, and it's going to expire when? Our passport is usually 5 years. So 2023, 5 years is going to be 2028, right? 2028 of February 1st, right? That's 5 years. So for this trip, question number 5. For this trip, will you use a passport issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Taiwan that includes your personal identification number? We don't have anything to do with Taiwan, so the answer is no. Anyways, it has already been highlighted for us here, meaning we don't have anything to do with Taiwan. And question 6, we don't have anything to do with Israeli passport. Moving on is your national identity document. Do you have a national identity document, ID card and all that? The answer is yes. If you do, you put in your document number. We're assuming A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Please put in the numbers that's applicable to you. Make sure you're putting in the correct thing. Country, question number 3 is country or territory of issue. Like always, it's still Nigeria. So we're looking for the N, L, M, N, G, A. There it is. Issue date, we're going to use the same thing as we use for up here, which is 2023 March 1st. And then expiry date is going to be 2028 February 1st. This is just an example. Then our next question is for US PR card. Are you a lawful permanent resident of the United States with a valid alien registration card, which is the green card? Do you have a green card? Have you been to the US before? I have not been to the US before, so it's no. But if you have been to the US before, kindly click on yes. Just note that once you read the question and it applies to you, please and please do not fail to put it as it applies to you, so that you don't make a mistake and you don't get banned for lying on your application. Moving on is your contact information. So we'll read this down. It says, if submitting your application by mail, all correspondence will go to this address unless you indicate your email address below. Indicating an email address will authorize all correspondence, including file and personal information, to be sent to the email address you specify. If you wish to authorize the release of information from your application to a representative, indicate their email and mailing addresses in this section and on the IMM5476 form. This is application for representative form. So our current mailing address, PO Box. Do we have PO Box in Nigeria? If we do, you put in your PO Box number 1234, apartment unit 11, your street number, let's say street number 20, and your street name, Adamu Street. Then your city or the town of mailing, we're going to use Abuja. And the country, as usual, is supposed to be Nigeria. So we're going to scroll down and look for Nigeria on the, oh sorry, we just missed it. There it is, Nigeria. So Nigeria doesn't run with province and all that. We run with city and town. So postal code, let's say A7DB6B4. That's what it looks like. But if you don't have postal code, just ignore it. Then question 2, residential address, same as mailing address. If your residential address is the same as this your mailing address, which is your home address, we click on yes. It needs us to put in a PO box, so let's just craft something. A4B56. Okay, fine. It has gone. Now, question number 3 is your telephone number. Do you have a Canadian or US number? If you do, you click on yes. But if you have other number like a Nigerian number, Cameroon number, Ghanaian number, whatever it is, you click on other. Type of number is going to be resident or cellular. Country code 234 and the number the number is going to be 81234567. Alternate phone number. Do you have alternate phone number? If you do, you put it down. But if you don't, I think it's best to leave that place. Fax number. We don't use fax, do we? But if you do, you put it down. And then email address. So we're going to put down an email address. .com. Moving on to details of visit to Canada. Now we've been asked why you're visiting Canada. What is the purpose of your visit? Is it visiting for business? Are you visiting for tourism, short-term studies, returning student, returning worker, super visa for parents or grandparents, other family visit? So in our case, we're coming into Canada as, we'll assume here, we're coming to visit Canada. Now, indicate how long you plan to stay. So, since it's going to be for 6 months, we're staying from, let's say, January 1st down to March, April, May, June, July 1st. This is 6 months, right? Then the funds available for my stay. How much is available for your stay in Canada? Before putting in this, you need to go to the Canadian website and look for funds that you need to have before coming into Canada. So I'm going to put a link for that one down below in my box. And for this section, I'll just put in, I'll just say 20,000 Canadian dollars. Moving on, number 4, name, address, and relationship of any persons or institutes I will visit. So, who are we visiting? Let's assume we're visiting a friend. Since we didn't indicate family member, so we're visiting a friend. A friend should be the name of the friend. Let's say Dauda Mary. What is your relationship with Dauda Mary? She's a friend. And what is her address in Canada? In this situation, you need to look for the address of your friend in Canada. Let's say unit number 1184. Saskatoon Street. Saskatchewan, Canada. This is for illustration purposes, you guys. Make sure you ask for your address, the address of whoever you're visiting. Is it your friend? Is it your family member? Make sure you ask for the address and put it in. Let it be the right one. Moving on, We're now on education. Have you had any post-secondary education, including university, college, or apprenticeship training? If you have, yes. So if you answered yes, give full details of your highest level of post-secondary education. So it's saying that if you've gone to school, university, if you've done what's it called, PhD, if you've done masters, you put your yes, and then you indicate from what year, the field of study, and the school that you went to, then to what year, the city or town and the country which you went to school. So for illustration purposes, I'll assume we went to school in 2000 of January, and we finished in 2015 of February. What field of study? Medicine, that's the easiest one. Medicine, right? Is it supposed to be like that? Field of study, yeah. Medicine. City or town? Abuja. School or facility name? University of Abuja. And the country or territory is Nigeria. It's supposed to be Nigeria, and there we have it. Moving on to the next section is employment. Give details of your employment for the past 10 years, including if you have held any government position, such as civil servant, judge, police officer, mayor, member of parliament, hospital administrator, employee of a security organization. Do not leave gaps. If retired, not working or studying, please indicate. If you're retired, please provide it 10 years before your retirement. So, in essence, what this is saying is from your first, in the past 10 years, what's from where did you from what year to what year have you studied? You should put it down and make sure you don't leave any gap. Maybe you left school for 1 year, or you stopped working. You graduated and you started working for 3 years. Along the line, something happened, and then you stayed at home for 1 year or so, and you resumed work. So that 1 year gap which you didn't work, make sure you put what you've been doing within that 1 year. Do you understand me? Now, let's move on. So, it's asking for past 10 years, right? So, we indicate from 2000 to January 1st to 2015 February. What activity were you doing? What was your occupation? I will say student, right? City and town is Abuja. School, University of Abuja. And then the country is Nigeria. Click on the drop down box and look for Nigeria, else it will keep giving you Namibia. So this is Nigeria. Then, as of 2015 of March, I'll assume I got employed. I worked in a pharmacy as a pharmacist. In Abuja. For how long? I'll say I worked for 5 years. So 2015, 5 years is 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2020. And I stopped working in January of 2020, yes. And the company or the employer, you make sure you put in the company that employed you, or the employer's name, or the facility name where you worked. Let's say Laboratory for Good Health. You guys, I'm just bringing up anything, assuming anything. So put in what applies to you. I keep repeating it. Put in what applies to you. If you worked as a businessman, you put in the name of your business. If your business is registered, you put it down. Whatever you worked as and wherever you worked, make sure you put it down right here. So the country where I worked, Nigeria, click on the drop down box and go down to Nigeria. So now, what do we have? From 2020 to 2015 is 5 years. From 2015 to 2020, sorry, from 2000 to 2015 is 5 years. From 2015 to 2020, it's another 5 years. So if I've done anything else after 2020, I'll put it here. So I'll assume from 2020 of February to 2023 of December, I have been resting. Or maybe I've been running my business. So I'll say business. What company? Is my company, right? So Cheenaylo Enterprise. Is that how we spell enterprise? City and town, Abuja, and country of or territory, Nigeria, as we all know. So click on the drop down box and go down to Nigeria. Good. Now we're done with this one. We're going back to background information. So it says you must complete this section if you're 18 years of age or older. So obviously we are above 18, and we'll go with the number 1. It says, within the past 2 years, have you or a family member ever had tuberculosis of the lungs? Tuberculosis of the lungs, or been in close contact with a person with tuberculosis? If you have, you click on yes, and if you haven't, you click on no. In my case, it's a no. Number B, do you have any physical and mental disorder that would require social and or health services other than medication during a stay in Canada? If you do, yes. If you don't, no. So question C, we're going to skip it because it says if you answered yes to question 1A or 1B, please provide details and the name of the family member. So since we have no in question 1A and no in 1B, we're skipping question 1C. Moving on, question 2A. Have you ever remained beyond the validity of your status, attended school without authorization, or worked without authorization in Canada? This is our first time of coming to Canada, so the answer is going to be no. Question 2B. Have you ever been refused a visa or permit, denied entry, or ordered to leave Canada or any other country or territory? Since we haven't been to any country before, apart from our country of residence, our country of citizenship, which is Nigeria or whatever country you're from, we answer no. So, question C. Have you previously applied to enter or remain in Canada? This question, if you have applied to come to Canada before, you guys, you click on yes. But if you have not applied before, this is your first time, this is fresh application, you have not done this kind of application before, please click on no. But if you click on yes, you have to put down details below of what happened, why were you cancelled, why have you applied, why did you apply to enter Canada, or why did you apply to remain in Canada? Something like that. So now we're going with no, since we've not previously applied. Question 3A. Have you ever committed, been arrested for, being charged with, or convicted of any criminal offense in any country or territory? If any of this apply to you in Nigeria and wherever country you're from, please click on yes so that you put your details below, provide the details below. But if not, it's a no. Moving on, question 4A. Did you serve in early military, militia, or civil defense unit, or serve in the security organization or police force, including non-obligatory national service, reserve, or volunteer units? This question is as simple as that. It's like the other one we did in IMM5257b. So if you answered no there, be true to yourself. The answer we're going to put down here is going to be a no as well. 4B is just what I just mentioned. If you answered yes, provide dates, the service, the countries, the territories where you served, and details below. Question 5 says, are you or have you ever been a member or associated with any political party or other group or organization which has engaged in or advocated violence as a means of achieving a political or religious objective, or which has been associated with criminal activity at any time? Have you? If you haven't, no. But if you have, kindly go to yes. So in our case, a situation, it's a no. Have you ever, question 6, have you ever witnessed or participated in the ill treatment of prisoners or civilians, looting or desecrating of religious buildings? If you've ever participated in any of these kind of activities, you click on yes. But if you have not, you click on no, truthfully. Now, moving on, they said if you answered yes to any of questions 3 to 6 above, or upon request of a visa officer, you may be required to fill out IMM5257 Schedule 1, which is what we did earlier, which is the first our first form. Meaning that if you have answered any of all this ones from question 3, have you ever committed any fraud or whatever? Did you serve in the military? Are you a member of any political party? Or have you ever witnessed or participated in the ill treatment of prisoners or civilians? If your answer is yes, you have to provide more information in the IMM5257 Schedule 1. So moving on, we have our signature. Let's read down. Citizenship and Immigration Canada, CIC, or an organization at CIC request may want to contact you in the future to ask you about any services you receive from CIC prior to the application process, such as participation in an information forum. During the application process, including the application process itself as well as orientation or accreditation services, and services received after arriving in Canada, including settlement, integration, and citizenship. CIC will use this information along with the information provided by other individuals for research, performance, measurement, or evaluation purpose. CIC will not use this information to make any decision about you personally. So this is like a part of an information asking for your consent. Do you consent to be contacted by CIC or an organization at CIC's request in the future? Well, it doesn't harm you, and they will not use the information to make any decision about you personally. So we go with the yes. I consent to the release to Citizenship and Immigration Canada and Canada Border Service Agency, CBSA, of all records and information for the purpose of processing my request that any government authority, including police, judicial, and state authorities in all countries in which I have lived, may possess about me. This information will be used to evaluate my suitability for admission to Canada or to remain in Canada pursuant to Canadian legislation. This is your declaration. So you have to declare that you've answered all your questions in this application fully and truthfully. So the signature of your applicant, I think the signature here is to put down your names. Maduka, Cheenaylo, Sandra, the date 2023 December 11. Click down, everything will adjust. So you guys, we have come to the end of this form. If you have any if there's something you didn't feel right, make sure to go through your form first, go through it, check it all, and ensure that everything you filled in this form is accurate and correct and it applies to you alone. Remember, at the beginning of this form, it says that you have to complete and submit it with your application. If you need more space for any section, you print out additional page containing the appropriate section. Okay, so since we're done with this one, we'll just go ahead and click on validate. Now it's telling us that validation completed successfully. So print the entire application and sign and date the last page. This page contains barcodes. So if you're applying online, you don't need to sign your application form by hand. You'll just be asked to provide an electronic signature once you are ready to transmit your documents to CIC. So we'll click on OK, and that is it. Now we'll go down. You see, this is the barcode he was talking about. This barcode is just to validate that yes, you're finished filling your form and you have validated it. Please, if you have not finished filling your form, do not validate it yet. Just leave it and come back and fill it when you have it, when you have your full information. So we've come to the end of today's video. If you like it, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to comment down below if there's any questions you have for me. I'll be sure to answer your questions. And also encourage me and tell me that I'm doing well, at least, you know. So also subscribe, share this video, and keep sticking with me. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye.